infield crash course. I'm gonna take you through third base, shortstop, second base, and first base, and I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know for positioning and for cutoffs. Let's start at third base. We have a runner at first base. That means we're gonna be in double play depth. That is gonna be basically even with the base and then maybe a step or two back. Okay, that's the positioning for double play depth. Now with nobody on, this is where we have a lot of freedom. Is the guy a leadoff hitter, might lay down a bunt? Okay, you can play in line even with the base, maybe even a little bit in front. If it's a bigger hitter and a guy who's probably gonna turn on the ball and you have a little bit more time, you can play back as far as you need. You can play all the way close to the infield cut. So that's third base positioning. Cutoffs. You as a third baseman, the main thing you need to know is that you are the cutoff to the ball hit to left field when there's a play at the plate. So if you have a runner at second base, they're looking to score on a single. So as a third baseman, we are the cutoff to our left fielder. Now the main thing that people do wrong at third base when they're taking cutoffs is a lot of times they will get out way too far. As third baseman, we can pretty much take this cutoff throw from in line with the third base bag. Make sure you're not in the way of the runner who's running from second base. Get in line with the bag. That's where you're gonna take the cut from the left fielder. Make sure you line up right in the middle of the left fielder and the catcher at home plate so there's a direct line. That's third base, cutoffs, and positioning. Now shortstop. Shortstop, we're gonna add one more element. Cutoffs, positioning, we're also gonna talk signs because as a shortstop, you need to know signs. Positioning, okay? In relation to second base, we're gonna back up here by the infield grass because typically shortstops, we're playing back, okay? So if I'm a shortstop, I'm playing right about here, a little bit, maybe 2/3 of the way towards second base from between second and third. Where we're at as far as positioning on double play depth, we wanna get ourselves a little bit closer, maybe take 2 or 3 steps towards second base and then in. By that position, it's gonna be a lot easier for us to turn double plays with our second baseman. That's where you're gonna wanna be when you have a runner on first base. So that's positioning. Cutoff man, you're gonna be the cutoff to the balls in the gaps. When the ball goes in the gap and it goes past an outfielder, that's when we are gonna be the cutoff, okay? But, however, on a play at the plate, a lot of times we are not going to be a cutoff if the outfielder's moving in. So that's all you need to remember. Is the outfielder moving back? Yes, okay, I'm the cutoff. Is the outfielder moving in? Okay, now I'm not the cutoff, now I need to go cover a base. So on that play that we just talked about where third baseman is the cutoff from the left fielder, that's where we as a shortstop need to hustle over to third base. But in general, shortstop's gonna be the cutoff for this side of the field, second base is gonna be the cutoff for that side of the field, only when the outfielders are running away from you, okay? That's cutoffs. Now let's talk about signs. When you're at shortstop, you're going to be giving signs with your second baseman. You guys all should know this, okay? We talked about it in one of our videos with Ange, but if you open your mouth like this, that means you got the ball. Close your mouth, that means I got the ball. Second base and shortstop need to look at each other between every pitch when there's a runner on base and say, me, I got it, or you got it. So we communicate that way as a shortstop and second baseman. Again, closed mouth means I got it, open mouth means you got it. That's how you communicate who gets the base, who covers the base on someone, on stolen bases, on comebackers, all that good stuff. Another sign that shortstop needs to absolutely know is how to communicate with the pitcher on a comebacker. Okay, the pitcher needs to know, okay, if the ball's hit right back to me, who am I gonna throw to at second base to turn a double play? Shortstop needs to communicate with the pitcher this before the pitch happens. So shortstop needs to look out to the pitcher and be like, hey, you and me on a comebacker, that's something that's super important, okay? Second base, as far as positioning goes, we can apply the same principle. Maybe 2/3 of the way between first and second base, closer to second, and then with double play depth, we take 2 steps to the right and maybe a step or 2 in. So that's positioning. Signs, exactly the same thing. We want to communicate with our shortstop between every pitch on who is covering the base if we have a runner at first, so that in the event we have a stolen base, we have someone covering the base. Also, second baseman should communicate with the pitcher on the event of a comebacker. Typically, shortstop has a better angle, but sometimes with right-handed pull hitters, it makes more sense for the second baseman to be the one covering second base on a comebacker double play to the pitcher. So that's second base. Again, same cutoff rules apply as shortstop. The outfielders turn their backs, we got the ball. If it goes over the outfielder's head, we become the cutoff man. So that's the second base. Finally, now over to first base. The only thing that changes with first base in comparison to third base is that now we get to hold runners on, right? So our double play depth is going to look a lot different than the other positions' double play depth. We're going to be over here at first base, and we're going to be holding on the runner. So the runner's going to be here getting their lead. We're going to have to be right here. So double play depth for a first baseman is going to look different. We're going to be here ready for the pickoff, and then we need to make sure we can take a couple steps and get off of the base and get set and ready for that ball that might get put in play. So that's double play depth for first base. Normal depth, again, like third base, we can back up a little bit, give ourselves some space depending on the hitter so that we're ready for that throw. As far as cutoffs go, first base is cutoff for, you guessed it, right field. Right field is going to be where we take the cutoff from, specifically on plays at the plate. Okay, if the ball goes over an outfielder's head, this is where we as a first baseman now become a trail. Now what I mean by a trail is this. The second that the batter passes first base and they're going to second base and there's no turning back and it's a for sure double. Whenever it's a for sure double, there's no need for anyone to be over here at first base. So that's where first basemen need to trail the runner and get over there on second base because that's where they're most needed, just in case there's a backdoor play. So that's the infield crash course. Third base, shortstop, second base, first base. We need to know our positioning. We need to know where we're at for cutoffs. Infielders should know this at levels from Little League all the way on up to pro ball. Master these things. If you get good at the simple things like this, all the little details, the coaches will trust you for those positions and you infielders won't have to get sent to the outfield. I'm Coach RAC. See you guys next week.